The United States has a problem that we as U.S. citizens are solely at fault for. That problem is overconsumption. This comes in four forms: waste, shopping, overeating, and energy consumption. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. has over 3,000 active landfills across the country. These landfills are the collection of waste that we throw out on a daily basis. On average, each American tosses out about 5 pounds of trash each day. And the family of 4, well, they will generate around 18 pounds of trash a day. That's 1,600 pounds per person every year, and that's 6,600 pounds per family every year. Now, our landfills contain about 139 million tons of waste. Out of that, 30 million tons of that is food waste. Now, depending on the particulars of the type of food waste it is, let's say it's our leftovers for the week. That's enough food to feed a small country. You can ask yourself, well, what about recycling? Yeah, you can, but what about it? But that's not the point. The point isn't recycling. The point is the amount that we overconsume over and over and over to the point that it becomes excess waste. Americans, we overconsume because we can, but should we? Our carbon footprint of the world is rather large for a small population as a whole compared to the rest of the world. Americans, we make up 5% of the world's population, but we consume 24% of the world's energy. Americans eat 815 billion calories of food each day. That's over 200 million more calories than the average diet requires for the body to function on a normal level.
That is one big pile of shit.
That's enough food to feed 80 million people. Let that sink in, right? 80 million people. Overconsumption is a problem in the US. As of today, there are now more shopping malls in America than high schools. This is an institution for learning. Why is it less prevalent in the United States than a facility built for receiving money from our citizens? But you can't blame them. It's a business, right? It's our population that allows these things to happen. How many sets of clothes do you need? How many cars can you drive? How much food should you buy and consume? These are the things that affect our society in a negative way. It leads to greed and envy. Our society has lost a lot of its humanity and empathy somewhere along the way. We today see helping others as an inconvenience. We live in an instant gratification world. As I personally like to say, people have a fast food mentality. I want this, and I want it now. Americans, we spend more money on shoes and jewelry than on higher education. That's over $100 billion. The average American, we will throw away 65 pounds of clothing every single year. Now, this fascination with over shopping might be okay if it improved our daily lives, but it doesn't. As we all know, the happiness from materialism doesn't last very long because there's always that next best thing that we have to have. The fear of missing out. FOMO for short. FOMO is the feeling and anxiety that a person experiences when they think they're gonna miss out on something. Most of the time, this has direct correlation to a shopping experience. 56% of Americans will suffer from this in their lifetime. These numbers are absolutely astounding. Yet, they will continue to increase. Why? Because we just can't stop. Because we can, doesn't mean we should. We all have this mentality, if I want something, I should have it. Somewhere along the way, we've lost that separation between our needs and our wants. We can have it, but should we? Do we actually need this or don't we? The sheer idea of necessity, these things that we learned as children, that idea has vanished. We want what we can't have. We don't have what we actually need. Now, let's get to the main portion, the big problem: overconsumption of food. 1 out of 3 American adults eat fast food each day. The consumption of fast food has been associated with the increased intake of calories, fat, and sodium. All these things lead to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Now, the answer to why fast food may be an important portion of our daily lives is pretty simple. It's cheap, it's quick, it's convenient, and it's readily available. This goes back to, like I said, that one question earlier. Just because we can do something, should we do it? According to the CDC, approximately 36.9% of American adults over the age of 20 are obese. 37.9% of men and 41% of women are considered to be obese in the United States. What is obesity? Obesity is a medical condition which involves having an excessive amount of body fat. This drastically increases the risk of health problems that you may suffer. Obesity is measured by the BMI. The BMI factors in a few things. It factors in a person's height, factors in the weight, age, and sex. All these things combined will give you your BMI. A BMI over 30 or higher indicates obesity. In the United States, the annual medical expense for obesity is around $147 billion. Medical costs for a people or person that suffers from obesity is roughly $1,400 higher than the medical costs of people at a healthy weight. These numbers will only continue to get higher as people continue not to have any self-accountability for their dietary habits. According to the National Institute of Health, obesity is the second leading cause of preventable deaths in the United States, close behind tobacco, of course. An estimated 300,000 people die per year from being obese. Now, the key word is unpreventable deaths in this scenario. Again, just because we can, should we? People are dying at an alarming rate due to their overconsumption. This is the one main problem that we can course correct, but we have to want to. That's gonna be it for this video. I'm Lincoln. This is the RPG Show, and I'll see you guys in the next one.